We will bring the meeting to order. I am temporarily filling in for John at the moment. I'd like to welcome you all to the October 10th, 2024 school board meeting.
Call roll.
Call roll. Yeah.
Mr. Griever,
Present.
Ms. Klein,
Present.
Mr. Matheson,
Here.
Mr. Robinson,
Present.
Mr. Clifton.
Okay. And now we will stand for a moment of silence. Okay. Thank you. Mr. Terry Steele, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Number 3, we will start with public comments. We have 2. First up will be Donna Krotz representing Laurel School. Ms. Donna?
Well, I don't know if you can say I'm representing, but
Well,
I
you're
am
speaking
forward.
for.
I am
Same
doing
thing.
my concerns, my things for Laurel School. And, you know, next year or the year after 26, I'll be running for school board. So, yes, I will be doing a lot. So,
Wonderful.
anyway, I know that you all have heard me harp on the parking lot, on the gym, the hallway, the classrooms. If we're not going to do anything, just tell me. That's all I want to know. Just tell me. Because it's been a long, long journey on that.
Well, I can tell you as far as the tiles in the gym, Dustin has got some ordered coming. It's hard to match the exact color because those have been in there for so long.
I don't
But he
care, I
does-
won't match.
He does have some coming that is as close as he can get to
Well,
the colors.
I like a match, and I like those gawky blue and yellow and other colors up.
Well, that's what we'll do.
Because it's a, you know, it's a sore eye.
Mhm.
I think really we deserve a new one, but it's okay. I mean, if that's all the little bit of money that you all can throw out, it's okay. I know we'll probably have money left over from our parking lot. That should take care of either the hall or the gym. But like I said, if you all can't do it, you all think that's wonderful, because that's a sore eye to people. It's a, you know, it's another checklist on how Laurel is left out. Period. No, but you finish listening to me, and because we are left out of a lot of things. Now, I know we recovered everything but $400 and some, maybe $300,000 or whatever from the books. If no other school gets hard textbook, I want Laurel to have one for science, social studies, English, math, reading. I want them to have hard textbooks, not these that you can go and buy a sample at Walmart. Now, I've already compared my daughter's work that she brings home, and I've looked at the books, and I've went to Walmart. It's time to get hardback books. It didn't hurt me. And some of the books and everything is out today. We don't even have a science book. My goodness gracious alive. And you want us to be compatible with the other counties?
Ms. Donna, I'll speak on that for a second. Y'all jump in. So I am going to be scheduling a time with Angie, which we were trying to do before the storm hit, to go through every school, every grade, and check every shelf. And make a list of all books that are in our school system, and then we will be comparing it to what should be done across the state of Tennessee to make sure our kids are where they need to be. So we will go I personally saw books myself that were way out of date. And from what she said was that if those books are still on the shelves, it's the teacher's fault because they've got them new books. So if any of these teachers have books that are out of date on their shelves, Angie said that she has supplied everybody with new books, and that's the teacher's fault
So
for
is there
not
paper
removing
books?
them. I don't know. I'm going to personally go down and look at them.
Okay, because I want hardback books. I don't want no
I
paper
don't know
books.
about hardbacks.
They don't make
They don't make
hardback
hardback.
textbooks.
They-
I mean that, from the state adopted curriculum, we cannot purchase hardback textbooks. If we could, we would, but that's not an option of purchasing.
Well, get somewhere they can bring home something, a whole book, something with their math, whatever thing they have, bring it home.
They can't.
And I don't want it to look like a Walmart book.
Well,
I
and,
mean-
another thing to keep in mind as far as the curriculum and the standards are evolving so quickly with what they have to deal with out of Nashville. If we spend a fortune on hardback books, which I love for the record, you could be 2 years down the road and they're gone. They're
Well,
out of
it-
date and you have to replace them all.
What about like iPads for all the students, if that's possible, with the books, the textbooks uploaded?
We have that on the
Is that
Chromebooks.
cheaper?
On the Chromebooks.
Do we
They
have it
can
for all
access-
subjects, all grades?
They can access that on Clever.
Yes.
Their textbooks are
Just a
accessible on the Clever app, and I'll be glad to show you all that.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. And then what about the kids without internet access? How do they have a book to use at home?
They can take their classroom book home.
Yes.
So we do have hardback books? for
They're
the
not
children? Or
hardback, but
books,
they're
textbooks,
books, yes.
textbooks,
They're paper
consumable.
They're
Yeah.
Paper
available.
books.
But
We're
that's,
gonna look at all of it, Miss Donna, cause like I said, I'm gonna be going through every school.
Well, I think
I know I
it's-
am, and anybody else that wants to. I just know I had set a date and couldn't keep it, with everything going on. But like I said, I'm gonna go through every classroom, every grade. And if
Okay.
there's an issue with the teachers not getting rid of the old books and not replacing the new books that she has provided, and then there's an issue with the teachers. And then somebody needs to take that issue up with the teachers and make them remove the old stuff out of their classrooms.
Well, all of that's good, but it's hard for me to believe you can't get textbook because I'm here to tell you, I've ordered third grade textbooks because of the way the road is and where there's nothing uploaded for things, I've ordered them. So,
They have to be state approved. It has to be a textbook that is on that state approved list.
you get them. But
Okay.
anyway,
The best we can do that I know of is walk through with her and all the classroom
I'd like to be
teachers.
part of that. That's okay.
If it's okay with Angie, come on, we'll have a field trip. And with them, we just need to decide and go through and see what other areas are doing, Science Hill, Hampton, Carter, Washington County. I guess we could reach out to others in Tennessee, down further out Middle Tennessee, whatever, we can compare to what everybody else is doing
Well,
to make sure our kids are getting the best.
no, because our kids are lacking.
It's the only reason we're here, right?
Well, that's true, but
Kids and teachers.
I want to know, I want
That.
everybody to know they're lacking. So, I cannot speak for a lot of the other schools, but I'm around a lot of kids from the other schools, and they're lacking.
All right. Well, let's do it. Let's go check it out. We'll look at the books and get with other areas and see what they're using so we can make sure our kids are on their level they need to be on.
And my other thing is, I know we got a bid in for a parking lot.
And that's on
That's actually here, Miss Donna. There's an addendum to the agenda for tonight. You want me to go ahead and read it?
Go ahead and read me the bid.
Let's just do it. Make you feel
Yeah,
better.
rip the Band-Aid off and go ahead
No,
and
it's
do it.
actually good news. It says here, we'll just jump to that one. Number 3 on the addendum to the agenda. Approve Laurel Elementary School parking lot with Inland Construction Incorporated in the amount of $280,000. Attachment 3 bid tabulation sheet with Sean Shanks Architects, PC.
you feel push that,
Flip it over.
there's the big thing.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, we can't vote on it yet, but here it is. It's good and ready to go for vote, obviously.
Madam Chairman, this, does this just cover the parking lot, it's the new parking lot?
There's a map right here. I don't know.
Or
I
does
didn't have
this
time to look at
cover
it.
the paving of the existing parking lot there?
This is the new one only, and they actually had to pull one parking space out so that they would have more room next to the tree that's there. They cut the corners out to make backing out easier, but this only covers just the field. Not paving the old parking lot, correct?
I thought we had, back in May, when we first started talking about this, we were talking about paving the existing parking lot also.
No, that was never discussed.
You remember, Mrs. Krantz?
I do remember, but you know, I'm not so for sure how much it was gonna come out to the new, I just know it was going to be right there, how much.
At the time that we discussed that, if memory serves, the two options were paving an 18-foot wide by 144
Yes,
feet
I
long
remember
section, or paving a 140 by 140 foot section of
So
just
this,
the field.
this 280,000, it is the 140 by,
Is this covering the field and the road in front of the school where the buses and the traffic can get in good? Is it covering the road there to make it more accessible and
No.
the side of the building to extend the parking lot out and make more space?
Grassy area.
So it's not widening for where buses can come in and out safely at Laurel? Isn't that was part of it? Where they can turn? I mean, that's the main issue, was the safety of
Well,
getting
you're
in
gonna,
and out.
if I understand it
correct?
correctly, you're gonna have a punch through where you turn in, and then this low length, that actually comes directly out into Laurel's parking lot, because here's the school. So they're gonna cut in here, and then they come down through there, and then that will give the long line to keep them from lumping up here through the
So it's gonna
road.
get them off the road and be able to load and unload safely right here?
And the architect is here.
Oh, wonderful, where's he
He's
at?
over here. It's Tom.
Hello,
so,
can you stand up and explain to Ms. Dawn and everybody else exactly how this is gonna look? Pretty please,
Well,
and welcome.
thank you. And I'm Tom Shanks with Shaw and Shanks Architects. And the plan is, it was presented to me for preparation for bids, was just to pave basically the adjoining lot. And to make the new road, which you see, I assume some of you all have this, but this is Gentry Creek Road, so, and the school's over here, the parking lot now starts there and goes that way. So the new road would come in at the far end of that adjoining lot and come up and tie in line with where the traffic
Would you
picks up
care,
in
could you
front.
could you come up here and turn around where they can kinda see what you're talking about, please? I'm sorry.
Who is
So
they?
everybody can see.
Well, it's awfully small, and if I'd have known everybody in the room was gonna need to look at this, I'd have brought something bigger.
You're doing great.
But the Gentry Creek Road is here. The school is currently on this side. So this is the property line. That's the property of where the adjoining house used to be. And essentially, that's the part we're paving. We've got 32 parking spaces, and the road will come in farthest away from the school and come up and give stacking room there, which was one of the main goals, was to be able to get more traffic off the road for the stacking that happens during pickup and drop-off time. And then that road lines up right beside the big tree that's there that goes right up through that. That's the existing parking lot. So it's lined up to go right up through there. So essentially, what's the highway?
Gentry Street.
Gentry Creek.
91.
91.
91's down here, Gentry Creek. So as you come up, you would turn in,
To the parking lot.
you would turn in and go, you'd have that much more stacking room. It's 200 or 300 feet, or 100, probably 150 or so. And then if you're coming down the other way, you'd have the ability to turn in and loop up that way. So you all would probably try to restrict traffic from going in at where they would currently go in, and get people to go in down at the lower end.
That's
Yeah.
fabulous. Do we have a date of when this is gonna start, once it's approved, if it's approved?
Well, it's not a good time to bid part paving, because of what's going on.
Yes,
So we had a really hard time finding bidders. We only had one bid,
I see that.
and that's Inland, and they're from Abingdon, but they are gonna use a local contractor to do the actual pavement. They're gonna do the grading, the drainage part of it from Abingdon, and then one of the local contractors is actually gonna do the pavement
That's
itself.
fabulous.
Who's the local contractor?
Moretz.
Out of Boone,
Over Avery County, yeah,
Avery County,
or over Watauga.
Watauga
I'm
County.
sorry, I thought they were here, but,
Yeah, they have a lot of employees that live here locally.
okay, all right.
They have a camp.
We reached out to as many contractors as we knew of that do paving, and we also, Leon and others have given us names that we've called, and just everybody's obviously very busy, or they're concerned about the roads. So to answer your question, we originally were gonna try to get it done this fall, but they all said, it cannot happen. There's no way we can get it done this fall. So we allowed them to tell us when they could get it done. And the bottom line, it's probably around, Inland said 100 and, how many?
200.
210 days.
Yeah,
So it'd be around 1st of May. So it's gonna be spring before it's gonna happen, because it's just too late to get it done this year.
So they couldn't really begin until.
Okay.
And that's because of the tragedy we've experienced.
Well,
here.
that and the fact that it's getting late,
Then
asphalt
cool-
plants start
yeah,
shutting
cool time of
down.
year.
Places they get stone and other materials, you know, what's happened at Maymead,
And being completely honest,
you know,
this
it's
is part of
just,
the
it's
problem.
just not a great time.
We've drug our feet on this for almost 7 months.
It was started in January, I believe, January 11th.
January, February, March, April, May,
Yeah.
June, July, August, September.
We're 9 months into it, but
Almost 10.
we appreciate the work you put into it, and Donna, we got an answer.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So with the money, because we had, how much was it, Tina, set aside? That Mike Payne and Gary,
It was the money that was actually tied up in the Mountain City when it's released, there's probably around 350.
350. So this is a good, that could be good. I want the rest of that money used for Laurel School. If it is like me and Chatty talk, chairs, if it's for desk, if it's for new things in the cafeteria, tables.
Ms.
I don't
Donna,
care. I
why
want
don't you
something.
do this? Why don't you write down the needs, go down there through the administration down at Laurel, and want y'all walk through, and I'll come too, and the rest of us can take a field trip and go look and make a list of what needs to be done, make a wish list, and see what we got, and see if it can get approved. Just naming them all.
And I'll be honest with you, it'll be more of an impact if we hear it from the administration.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can get with the administration, and everybody can make a big field trip of it and just go look around Laurel and see what all needs to be done. How
Okay,
about that?
that'll be fine.
Okay.
I will settle for that right now, because, you know, I want Laurel, like I said, we have a Queen's School. I want Laurel to turn into that
Well, I
Queen's
know
School.
people have been in fear of Laurel being closed down, which would be asinine since our county is growing so fast. And as people are coming into our area and those roads meet up, which they're coming, from Damascus over here from 81, just like they've been coming for years. That's why we got 91 to connect to. As that happens and more people, you know, end up in our area, we're going to have that other school. It's a lot cheaper to take care of the one that's sitting there than to build a whole nother. So I think as a group, we all are going to have to get together and figure out what is needed, don't you think?
I think so too, and I'd like to see some of the kids that are out of the Laurel District to have more of a chance to come back, that wants to, instead of being told no. And I'd like to see the ones that is in Washington County.
Why don't you make a list of all this stuff and get with the principal of Laurel, and then you guys let us know when you're ready, and we'll hold a special meeting for you. How about that?
That's fine. I'll
Does that
get
sound
with them.
okay? Special meeting, everybody in
Madam
agreement, special
Chairman.
meeting? Huh?
On this bid, since that's the only bid that's come in, do we need to vote on this to?
I think she said we'll do it after we get down to the addendums. That was just kind of brought up early
Okay.
to let her know that something was being done.
Thank you all, and I'll, again, see y'all next month, because I am pro Laurel. I mean, I care about the other schools. I would go to the other schools to help if something was wrong. I would put, you know, I would do whatever. I'd dig right in there. But I am pro, and I cannot express this enough, pro Laurel. And all my things will be in y'all's face about Laurel.
Well, let's get that list together and get with Miss Eggers back there, and let's take a field trip.
Well, I will see you all next month and talk.
Well, don't wait till then. Fix it up and get it
I
to
will,
us.
I will get that, but I'm talking about, I will be up there, right there.
Just
talking
get
next
it,
month.
get the list together and let us meet you there and see what we can do. Okay? And then the next on public comments is Charlie Martin. Does it say Martin?
Yes.
Okay, Charlie Martin. Hello, Charlie Martin.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Fine. I'm glad to be here tonight, and I primarily wanted to come and be here. My wife and I are relatively new residents in Mountain City area, and we realize that there's a high cost of leadership, and oftentimes that a word of encouragement is a help to any of us. And with what we've gone through in the storm this last week, I think all of us have probably been encouraged by others who have come in from distant places. They've sent gifts, they've encouraged us, they've prayed for us, they've asked God to help us, they come down. And when I get a phone call, and I'm a leader, and when I get people contacting me and say, I'm praying for you, is there anything I can do to help you? What do you need? So I have never been here to a school board meeting. All of my kids are old and my grandkids are growing up fast. And we have 5 children and 18 grandchildren, and I want to be involved in the area where I am. So I want to come and speak a word of encouragement to all of us who are here. And it's been possible for me to get to meet new people everywhere I go and remember everybody's names. But one of the Bible says a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold and pitchers of silver. And so when somebody speaks wisdom to us or truth to us, as hard as it may be sometimes to swallow, I appreciate people coming that may agree with me or disagree with me like you have done tonight. And you've heard, I'm sure, things that this lady said. You agree with part of it, maybe part of it you didn't, but it's part of the process. We go and we express what's in our heart. So, the Bible, I see up here, in God we trust. And one of my favorite Bible verses was Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall, that's a promise from God, he shall direct thy paths. The Bible tells me, and I'm a person of faith, and my wife is a person of faith, my children, my grandchildren are people of faith, and we have taught our children this way, and I want to practice it myself. And I close with this, that my people that are friends of mine and part of my church family, I say this all the time, but I want everybody to know God's phone number is Jeremiah 33:3, because God says, call unto me and I will answer you, and I will show you great and mighty things that you don't know. And so with that, I'd like to close in a word of prayer and ask you to join me, please, as we pray for one another, whether we agree, disagree. I think if we put our trust in the Lord, call on him, put our trust in him. This is something that each of us needs to do. I've been in the Supreme Court and I've seen this same motto on the wall, and also the 10 Commandments. My heart's desire is that we would see the 10 Commandments back in the school.
Amen.
And we would have prayer back in the school, and I want to say that prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you. Thank you so much. You said, call unto me, and I will answer you, and I will show you great and mighty things that you don't know. Lord, in my life as a leader, I have faced so many difficult questions, challenges to my leadership and all things. I want to come back to you when I don't know the answers, God, and it's beyond me. And if I'm going to lead, somebody said if you think you're a leader and you look around and no one's following, you're just out taking a walk. And God, I believe that a lot of times leaders are out taking a walk because we don't have people following us. Lord, show us how to be great leaders. Show us, God, how to follow you and depend upon you, and to put our trust in you. In the name of Jesus Christ, my Lord, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Charlie. That was fabulous. I think we all need to step back and remember what we're here for, and if maybe look at ourselves real down deep, see, are we really for the system, or are we in here for ourselves? And are we doing the right thing, or are we just letting stuff slide? So I think that's a beautiful prayer at this time in our community, and welcome. Welcome to Mountain City and Johnson County. We're glad you're here. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's see. approval of the recognition of visitors or delegations participation. Youth League Basketball, Andrew Freeman.
I just come up here to ask permission to use the gyms for the upcoming basketball season. When we'll start, can't tell you. Hopefully we'll get to meet the next week or two and set up our sign-ups and everything. But with everything going on, we were normally we've already started by now, but now we're waiting to see how everything pans out.
I think it's something we've done standard
Yeah,
procedures.
there's no issue with that at all, and that's
What's
a
the
Bible
procedure?
right now.
Anybody have any?
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we, let them use the gymnasium for their practice.
A second. I don't think we really have to vote on that though, do we? Once we're in agreement, sounds like it's yes.
Thank you.
And recognition of maintenance department.
Yes, something that we have done this for several years, and last year we recognized just certain at each school, various organizations, but Mr. Griever had asked, can we do employee recognitions, and we have done that in the past, so we're gonna start that, and we're gonna, every month, it'll be a different school, but we're gonna start with central office. And I wanted to recognize our maintenance department, because I don't think people realize how hard these men work. Everyone in our school system works extremely hard, but it don't matter if it's during the school hours, if it's at 6 o'clock Saturday morning when they had to be on the roof, when the storm was coming in because it was leaking, they're right there, no questions asked. So I did want to recognize and honor them tonight and for everybody to see them. So Leon is the supervisor over maintenance, so I'm going to get him to come up here too. Just so you can know these guys, and I know we got to get Tim out of here because his grandson's on the homecoming court. So Dustin Crumley, you all know Dustin very well. He is the department head over these fine young gentlemen. We got Tim Hodge. Tim Lovejoy. Greg Poe. Brett Reese. And Johnny Stansberry. We have an awesome maintenance department, and we just wanted to recognize and honor them because they go out of their way and will do anything asked of them, no matter what time of day or night. So thank you guys so much for all you do.
I know I'm sliding right back.
Thank you guys.
Hey.
Number 5.
Yeah. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. What you gotta do, let me read all this.
No, just.
Yep. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Hmm?
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Roll, please.
Mr. Griever,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Here.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
You'll have to excuse me because I'm learning from all these people, because I never did this. I was always over there, okay? So now I'm over here. and I've got to
You're
learn.
doing a great job.
Good job.
I've just been looking when to knock ish.
You're doing a good job.
Bear with me, okay. Now, so I'm supposed to read this?
Just to read the consent.
Consent, give a motion to approve consent of agenda.
I'll make that motion. We approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Good enough? Am I supposed to read all this?
No. Have to call the roll.
Roll. Can you not just already do that?
Mr. Griever,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Yep.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
It's your turn.
Okay.
Do I have to ask you every time to do that?
Call roll, please.
You just
Sorry.
have to call the roll. Number 7.
Number 7, report of student board member Jackson Clifton.
All right, so I had a little bit of a difficult time figuring out what was going on because there's not really anything that can go on much now. So I wanted to highlight some of the Hurricane Helene relief efforts that have been going on at our schools here. So I've got just a couple pictures. These places are absolutely stocked with all the supplies you can need. So there's Rome Creek right there. Then we also have Mountain City, Laurel, and Doe. They all have like cleaning supplies, snacks, even like pet food. I mean, it's incredible. And it's not just the schools. There's tons of churches and buildings all over the community that are helping out. And it's just really blessed me to see the outreach that people have had helping out, just everyone in their community. It's an amazing thing to see us all come together. There are some, families suffering from loss, so just keep them in your prayers and everything. But what is going on tomorrow night is our senior night football game. That's against Chucky Doak. We're going to be highlighting the seniors in football, golf, band, and cheer. And there's going to be free admission for everyone into the game. So whenever you go to, I guess, where you would get your ticket, they're going to give you a ticket, and you can take that to one of the concession stands and use that to get a free concession there. So that's going to be really good. And then next week, we're not having school this time because of fall break. So after that, I guess we'll see. Thank you all.
Is this in home?
Jackson, congratulations on making it here after your hour and a half
Yeah.
journey.
Took him a little while to get
It took me about 30 minutes longer to get here than usual, so
Where do you live?
out in trade.
Oof. Yeah, I've taken that trip. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming in. We appreciate you. And this is a home game, right?
Yeah, it'll be at home.
Wonderful. Okay, and do I have to ask you to call the roll again?
No.
Thank goodness. Okay. 5-year, sorry y'all. 5-year plan update. The district and schools will share events and news through our social media outlets and our district website and our school messenger program to keep all stakeholders informed.
And that is just part of the board's 5-year plan, and we have a Facebook page, we have our district website, we have the school messenger, and we put a lot of messages out on that. Not only do we have a district Facebook page, each of the schools have a Facebook page, and that's how we get a lot of information out. So, and I do know that the school messenger is very well appreciated, because if they hear Mr. Sutherland's voice early one morning, I think some of the kids are happy. I think they're going to be happy to hear when we get to go back to school. So we do continue to do that. So just sharing that as part of the 5-year plan.
Okay. Number 9, approve authority to represent Johnson County Board of Education, Tennessee, civil suit against those legally responsible for the wrongful distribution and price fixing of insulin drugs and the generic form of insulin with the law firm McHugh Fuller Law Group PLLC and Jesse Law Office. Okay.
And Miss Jessie is here to speak about that. She was here in October, if you remember, and she shared the information, and I emailed that to everyone
Back in August.
back in August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
We shared a copy of the complaint and a copy of the contract, and nothing has changed since the last time I was up here, except for more people have signed on. Hamilton County, which is the 3rd largest school district in the state, recently voted and signed on. I've actually, ironically, had more school districts sign on this time around than counties, because with the opioid litigation, it wasn't opened up to different municipalities or different entities inside the county. So now that the school systems say, hey, here, they've stole this money from us, we want it back, it's led to more school systems signing on than counties at this point in time. But I'm going around gradually, county by county, system by system. It's a very straightforward complaint. They've known since 2002 that they've been price fixing insulin. 2013, they started price fixing the generic form. It has made your premiums rise exponentially and almost double completely, if not 3/4 of an increase from 2002 to 2013. Then you see a substantial 30% increase from 2013 to 15 to 17. And then from that point forward, it's very simple. Like the contract states, no out-of-pocket costs, no risk to you. You may not see me again for several months because we'll be working on this, but it's something that I have filed on behalf of your county already and trying to bring as much money back to this area as possible. I wanted to reach out to you and say, you qualify for this lawsuit. If you choose to opt in it, here are your options. We are doing this now. The incentive, as I told you last time, we've done this, we file first. If we follow the exact same pattern we did in opioid, my counties, my entities that did file, rather than waiting to see if the state decides to get in it, they very well may not, they may, we don't know. We did receive a 20% bump at settlement time because we took the risk and we did all the work up front.
So what exactly is our county getting from it?
Money, you'll get money back,
And
damages.
how are we involved with this? Are we purchasing insulin?
You purchase health insurance
Health
plans.
insurance
You
plan.
self-insure your health insurance plan. So if you look at the dynamics of,
Where's insulin coming in? I'm sorry,
I was answering that.
on insulin.
Yeah,
versus health insurance.
you purchase health insurance
Mhm.
plans. And so if you look at the dynamics of the state, most typically, the worst cases we see for health insurance are in Upper East Tennessee, just like the opioid epidemic. We're just not as healthy as some other parts of the state, with the exception of Memphis. So because they price fixed insulin, it has made your health insurance plans exponentially increase. And that's why when I throw out those are the percentage of your health insurance plans that have increased. So it's a racketeering. They knew what they were doing. They were colluding to drive up the price of your insurance, of your insulin, and what that has done is driven up the price of your insurance premiums. And because you self-insure, and that's the big key, because some of my school districts do not self-insure, but because you self-insure, it is money directly out of your pocket.
So it's affecting their co-pays and such and the medications they're buying
affecting
on the
you.
shelf.
It is affecting you as the entity. You're paying more, and then it's impacting them as well. But I'm suing on behalf of you because your health insurance premiums that you self-insure have increased exponentially since 2002.
And this is extremely similar to the Jewel lawsuit as far as we have zero liability, and the only upside is we essentially have funding coming in once we win or they settle. There's no downside to this.
There's nothing. You have nothing to lose.
Are you gonna, if you come out on the other side and win this thing, are you gonna make them give back everything that's lost and drop down those rates going forward?
Well,
That have been kicked up by their error?
I can't speculate what a damage model is, but obviously your damage model will ask for absolutely every red cent and penny I can get back.
Yeah, and going forward.
Yeah.
We would want them to fix it going forward, because if we're fighting them just to get a little bit of cash, but they're still gonna do the same thing we're fighting them for, that doesn't get us anywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So, we're gonna give a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Call roll.
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Here.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
And I will wait for you. You can just email me to sign.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, where were we at here? Number
10.
10. Elect new Tennessee legislative representative, legislative liaison. The legislative representative is a board member that helps track any legislative updates and reports that to the board.
And this is just a TLR rep that we do every year, and they will come back with legislative updates. They receive information from TSBA.
How often do they update us?
It just depends on, it's usually a lot during legislative session, which starts in January, and then by March and April, they're letting a lot of information, and then it slacks off.
Do they update us on everything? They can't pick and choose what to
No, they
update us on.
update
They
you on
have
everything.
every single
Everything
legislative
that,
changes.
even things that doesn't deal with education, they'll update you on.
Okay.
And I'd like to pitch out, if there's no objection, I would like to be the TLN rep for this coming year.
All right. Make a motion for Russell to be this TLR rep.
I'll make a motion.
You second.
Second. Take the roll.
Mr. Greenberg,
Hey,
Yes.
I got you that time.
Ms. Klein,
Here?
Mr. Matheson,
No.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
We have three.
There you
I
are.
got three.
Okay. And number 11, second and final reading of TSBA required changes on the following policies. Attachment number 11, do they get attachments?
Yes.
No, if you'd like to read the attachments, you can get online and print them off yourself, because a lot of times when the policies come through here and they have attachments, it's helpful to read those attachments, which you all don't have in your hand.
They cannot print those off online.
You cannot?
No,
Where did I get mine?
through the email.
Oh, I emailed them. So you can actually email with a formal request to the school board or central office, and they will then in turn, but I think it costs if you want them printed for you, but you can review them online if you'd like to see what's actually being said in the attachments.
They can see the original online.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's reading that?
I can.
Yeah, if you would, that'd be
Okay,
great.
policy 4.600, that's grading system, and this is where public chapter 1005 prohibits creating a local grading policy that establishes a minimum grade above 0. That just means you can't say that all students would make it as low as, all students would make a 50. If they get a 0, they get a 0. You can't say if you don't do anything, then you get a 50. That's never been an issue in our system, but it has been across the state. But it's still state law, so we have to adopt a policy. The second one, policy 4.700, is testing programs, and this impacts the potential weighting for the end of course scores. Currently, you could select between 15 to 25% that was based on the end of their 9 weeks grade. The new regulation is in effect where it has to be between 5 and 15. I surveyed all of our academic tested teachers, and they all wanted it to be 15%. So we would like for our policy to state 15% for tested subjects in grades 3 through 12.
Can you break that down and make it simple? What do you want to do here? The state board updated the regulation.
The state board says currently end of course exams, which are only given at the high school, can only range, you have to use a percentage of their final grade has to be based on end of course. Currently with our policy, it is 25%. The state says it has to be between 5 and 15 now.
So the percentage at the end of the year that's gonna make or break them.
It's worth 15%.
So it's 25% right now.
It's 25% right
The
now.
theory is that having it at a higher percentage, the students will know that it's a bigger factor in their score, and they'll try harder on the end of
Or
course
they just
test.
they're not good testing, they don't test well. So I'm pretty smart some days, but I test terribly. So what's gonna benefit them the best would be that lower score at the end, because if they don't do good, then their numbers are chopped down for no reason. Does that make sense?
That does.
I don't test well, my kids don't test well, so I would hate to see a big amount of whatever a test affect what they've done all year.
But when we surveyed the teachers, they wanted 15%. They wanted it to be worth 15%.
I'd like to table this one until we can talk about it some more.
Both policies are just that one.
That one, just that 4.70, I'd like to look into that a little bit more, because we gotta remember the children that have learning difficulties. We don't want a big high percent affecting their grade if we don't have to. I'd like to think on it a little bit more and discuss it a little bit more and look into it a little bit more.
And just so you know, this is broken down 3.5, 6.8, 9.12. With our policy, what we do for 9.12, we've always done for 6.8 and 3.5, so it would impact those grade bands as well. And
So you're wanting to bring it down from the 25 to the 15.
Yes, 25 to 15 is what was
25% currently
to 15%.
to 15.
Yes, and the majority of the teachers.
That would actually help the children a little bit better right there.
That right there would help them.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd still like to table it till I can think more on it. 'Cause yeah, the 15 would be better, but I think we need to make sure that we're all on the same board, whatever's gonna be best for those youngins.
With this being a required legislative change, how much time do we have before we have to act?
Well, normally, end of course would be taking place in December. So we would have to have something in place in November, because high school students test in December.
Okay.
So we would need to have
Well, we could
something-
just have us a meeting, work session again before the next meeting, don't you think? That'd be okay with you guys? We can discuss this?
Okay.
There's other things that'll have to be discussed anyway, so I think that would be good. So it could be 5 to 15, correct?
5 to 15%,
For the state level,
yes.
5 to 15. And we
5,
can-
10, or 15.
Right.
That's what they say.
Okay, I think we need to discuss it as a board.
So just table 4.700.
Let's table 4.70, please.
Okay.
Well, that being the case, I'll make a motion that we approve 4.600 grading system.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Here.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
I'll slowly get a hang of this in a
Get
minute.
it.
Bear with me.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're good on that. Do we need to make a motion to table that, or we already do that?
Procedurally, yes, we should.
Okay. Can we-
You can
I'll make the motion, we table it.
I'll second it.
Hold on.
Call the roll call.
Hold on. Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Here.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes,
Okay.
If nothing else, you'll get some giggles tonight with me
You
sitting here.
can make motions.
you can make motion.
You can make
You
motions.
can. Just because you're chair doesn't mean you can't make motion.
That's just too much to think about right now.
I know,
I'm
I
lacking
know.
some serious sleep here.
You're
Okay.
good. You're doing good.
Number 12, approve authorization for Johnson County Schools to compensate all personnel during the flooding state of emergency beginning September 27th, 2024. That being all certified, non-certified bus drivers,
This is all,
everybody.
this is all employees. We would like to be able to compensate, certified their salary, so that would not have impacted them. But our support staff, it would have, because especially our hourly folks only get paid when they work. You know, they should not be at fault because we can't be in school.
And these are funds that
They
are
were
already
already
included in the budget.
Yeah.
So we just want permission to continue to compensate them as we would have if they were on the job.
I'm completely fine with this. I make a motion, we approve this.
I'll second
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Yep.
Mr. Matheson,
it. Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
And thank you, the employees. I know will appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely. They deserve it.
They do deserve it.
Okay, let's see here. Number 13, discussion and approval of live streaming of open work sessions only. I think this needs to be tweaked a little bit because some open work sessions, in my personal opinion, and you guys, I think that the community does in fact should have access to the work sessions if it's not pertaining to staff. Like, so we had one last night, went really well, I believe. We had some little hiccups, but it's all good. But I think we need to have those sessions for staff and administrators and whoever else that wants to speak with us one-on-one. I think those should be closed. If we're having meetings with, say, the principals and teachers, they have issues they want to talk to the board about because we work for y'all. We work for you. So they need to be able to come with us without having the community all watching, but when it comes to policies and all this changing that's directly impacting the children and everybody else, then I believe at that point it needs to be live streamed every time. Personally, y'all agree?
Madam
Have
Chairman.
changes?
Madam Chairman. Also, I'd like to add to that, what about safety issues?
Those have to be closed by law.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but, yeah, those would be closed by law.
They would be closed.
Yes, they have to be.
Okay.
Anything dealing with safety and security has to be closed. Or if we're dealing with student information, those have to be closed
Okay.
by law.
So that would still allow everybody in the community to be able to watch the work sessions and what we're talking about and bring stuff to us as a board to bring to those meetings to discuss. And they can be aware of what's happening. Except for when it's safety or if it's when the teachers and administrators want to come to us with stuff, they need to be able to do that in private.
But they
I
can
believe.
do that in private, and as far as if there's, it's a double-edged blade as far as which side you slide down. The back and forth as far as with the staff and the administrators and the principals Tuesday was fantastic. It was one of the best nights as far as sharing information. But if there is one thing that I have heard from everyone is they want to be able to watch these meetings at home. They want to be able to be involved, they want to watch things, and they want to be able to see it. So if principals and administrators want to come talk to us privately, they can at any point. But we need to let the public be able to watch what this school board is doing, with the exception of something as far as a safety issue or something extremely specific as far as personnel or litigation or something along those lines. This is something that people are very concerned with, and they want to be able to see what we're doing.
I agree with that, but at the same time, those teachers and administrators were able to speak with us in the open without having to worry about little Susie's Uncle Joe watching it, and that teacher kind of tweaked him a little bit to the right, so he's off he's not stable anymore, and so and so is doing this. But the teachers and administrators deserve access to us just like anybody else as a whole of all of us together, because we can't legally meet outside of a meeting when there's more than
And
two
they
of
have
us.
access to us at any point.
Well, I still say that those for the teachers, just to bring concerns, should be able to be closed. And then anything else for the parents, because we're not hiding nothing, you can call me, I'll tell you everything. You know me well enough by now, don't you? I mean, you know me well enough, there's nothing can be hid, there's not gonna be anything hidden with the teacher meetings. And I think they deserve to have that forum with us without everybody watching. You understand does that make sense?
I do see where you're coming
But
from.
anything else,
And technically, that is still a public meeting, it's just not,
I don't agree with
streamed.
that one being streamed, because I feel like they need a space to open up to us where, like all the, every single person in here has different feelings, different outlooks, different thoughts, and different ideas, okay? So say Miss Eggers, she is little Susie's teacher, and she gets a little sideways in one of the meetings, and so then she has parents coming down on her because we filmed her talking to the board and we didn't agree with her. So she's personally gonna get attacked for that, and that's not okay. So I think when these guys are coming to us as a board, they need to have a closed meeting and have access to us to bring any issues. And you can call me any day of the week, I don't care. Call me, whatever. But if there's more than one of us together, you got the sunshine law, which disallows that. So we cannot be doing that. They have to have access to us. I'm talking maintenance, I'm talking kitchen, whoever's over every department, I invite you all.
But it's not a closed meeting. They're still able to come, just like everybody that's sitting here. This
I still want them
facilitates
to have
letting.
untaped visit, I want them unstreamed meetings for them to address us privately as in staff. If there's issues there, then we bring it to the board or the meeting where it's being filmed. I think they deserve that. I think they deserve some privacy to discuss things.
And it's still an open meeting. I mean,
Yeah, it's open meeting, but it's not gonna be streamed, okay? But I think every single meeting that has to do with policy, procedure, all of this stuff that we're reading, anything else needs to be streamed at all times. Just across the board, work sessions streamed, regular meetings streamed, but I think when it comes to letting these guys meet with all of us at one time, that does not need to be streamed. If there's issues during those meetings, then that's when we bring them to these meetings like this, we put them on the agenda.
Okay.
And that's my opinion, I'm only one person.
Okay.
I'm assuming all your meetings are posted on.
They are.
Yes. And there's a 72 hour law that has to be posted for any meetings coming to light. So I believe this whole board would probably be gracious in giving everybody 48 to 72 hour workday hours, not a weekend of notification. In my opinion, Gary down there, I feel like you're too far away. What you think about
What,
the streaming of the meetings where the teachers and administrators can speak with us about issues not being streamed, but everything else being streamed, like work sessions being streamed. But I feel, what I was saying is I feel that the staff deserves a place with us and not being watched, because some people may just have something for old Sadie back there and say, I don't like the way her hair looks today, and maybe it's not like her. But you see what I'm saying, that they should have a space unstreamed. If there are issues that need to be brought to the meetings, then we can put it on the agenda for the work session, which would then be streamed.
But this is about streaming open work sessions only.
Open work sessions, I'm just wanting to add to it and clarify it. Except it won't be streamed when it's just, and they may never request another one. They may say, we don't want to talk to y'all. So there may not be another instance that we even have to worry about it. But I feel that if we as a board want to talk to them about something, the educators, that they have the option to do that and it not be streamed, in my opinion.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to bring anything dark and ugly, but it'll be a good time to work through issues.
that sounds all right.
So we can reword this?
Yeah.
What we need to do to reword this?
Can we reword that?
Well,
Okay.
Yeah, we
How
know
about
if I-
that?
closed,
Surprise!
when it's closed, it'll say closed.
But
Like it'll say a work session closed.
Right,
Meeting.
and that's what I was
Like
getting
I
at as
did
far
the
as like
special closed,
only live streaming open work sessions.
yeah,
But it can only, by law, can only be closed if we're dealing with.
with these items that you said.
Student information or security/safety.
Or
Litigation.
potential,
what,
or
can we
potential
table this and
litigation.
rework it another
potential
time?
litigation.
Can we table it? Because this needs more, this needs to be reworded. Let's table that.
Okay.
Make a motion to do that.
I make a motion to do that.
Oh, look at you go.
Look at me, count us.
I'll
Roll
second.
call.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Let's table that and reword it.
Okay, Mr. Greenberg,
No.
Ms. Klein,
Yes.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Teachers,
I like,
staff.
I like your compromise on that.
I think they may never want us, but in case they do, they should have the right to talk to us in privacy. It's a whole, you gotta
Well, I
think
mean,
about it. Sunshine law, they can't get us.
It's still an open meeting, we're just not broadcasting it when they're here, giving them that open feedback like we had this past Tuesday.
And all the parents should, in the
And I mean, the
community.
public's still able to come.
They're still able to
and
come.
To come, listen, and that, but it's just not, we're just not gonna stream that.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we
Well,
can come up
because,
with a compromise on that.
if more than two of us are together, what is that?
We're violating sunshine.
We're violating Sunshine Law. So if they wanna hit all of us with their issues that represent the different areas, then they should be able to meet with us just like that without being streamed. But if there's issues, then we bring it to the agenda. Right? Deal. Okay, tabled. Did you already do the roll call?
Yeah, she called roll.
Okay. I know this looks like
You're doing good.
a mess,
Keep
y'all, and I
going.
apologize, but I'll get it. Okay, let's see here. 14, budget update, Miss Tina Lippard.
Thank you, and you're doing a great job.
Hey, we're fiddling through it, we'll make it.
You're doing great. Okay, so the first thing on the top of your financial packet is the sales tax and property tax collection. And as you see, the September collection was $132,173, which was up from the same time last year. And then taking a look at the property tax, which is at the bottom, is $77,310, which is also up from last year. And you have the financial summary statements, and what I did was I highlighted in green to show you where the revenue is, to show you the amount that has actually been received, both by dollar and by percentage. So I highlighted that for you with the GP, and at the bottom part is the expenditures. If you flip over, I also highlighted those for you with the expenditures, the actual amount that was expended, and the percentage.
Can I ask you a question on
Yes.
this budget?
Absolutely.
I would like you to break something down for me, please.
Okay.
What's this, what exactly is health services? What does that entail?
Okay. Is it 72120?
That one.
It'll be,
Yes.
72-120.
Okay, so health services covers the salary for our nurses. It covers a portion of the salary for our nurse supervisor.
Who's the nurse supervisor?
That is Miss Wendy Henley.
She's paid as an NP though, correct? She's an NP,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
On the, yes, off the salary schedule.
Okay,
Yes.
so that is entailing a salary for nurses. Can I get their hourly pay, please? I'd like to
Yes.
see how that lines up
Yes,
with anybody
it's
else.
actually a salary. And so actually Miss Henley's is broken down by Head Start and then by GP. Because
What
Head
does that
Start,
mean?
Head Start actually picks up a portion of her salary, and then the general purpose picks up the other. So we have an actual salary schedule that's set for that. If you want a copy of the salary schedule, and
Yes,
I'll,
please.
anything you need.
Yes,
I'll-
please.
I'll-
Because technically, we really only need an RN in that position, correct? And salary-wise, we're taking a big chunk right there out of that budget.
So, yes, but we
Right?
have
I mean, really, and so the nurses' salaries come out of Head Start?
no, only.
Part of
only
it.
The.
And it's part
nurse
of her salary
practitioners.
coming out of Head Start.
Only the
because it's-
MP comes out of Head Start.
The NP's
Because
coming
it's
out of Head
federal
Start?
funds.
A portion,
Yeah,
25%
nurses provide services to-
comes
Why?
from Head Start.
Why?
Because she serves the younger
She's
students.
providing service.
She
to
provides
the
a
kids.
service to our
But
Head
she's an
Start
employee of our school
program.
system.
Head Start flows through our school system, but they have an entirely separate budget.
Okay,
that's
can you just
approved-
give me all the workings of the financials
I
of all
can.
medical,
I'll
and
be-
where does any kind of funds flow through to support our medical? Any
Yes.
funds that touches that? Because it makes no sense to me if that's coming from the state to be funding a position. Do you understand what I'm
I
asking?
do, I understand exactly. So what I'll
So we're
do,
taking money away from the Head Start to pay into a position that we pay yearly as a staff member to help fund that
Yes.
part out of the money for those kids in
Yes.
Head Start.
exactly.
I'd like to understand that more. If you could give me all paperwork in
I will.
regards to that.
So I'll do you a breakdown of
Yes,
the
please.
72120, and I'll
Wow.
give you a copy of the salary schedules and how the percentages are paid.
Yes, please. And then we'll do a work session on that as well, which will be open to the public.
Okay,
How about that?
perfect.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, where are we at? Go ahead, Tina, sorry.
So that gives you the numbers of the GP on the summary financial statement. And then you have a packet of grants that have recently been approved. And all these grants flow through federal dollars. And so the state is the only one that is required to approve these. The board, the local board, and the county commission do not really have a say in these. So I'm just bringing you this information, like, so that you can acknowledge that you've received it. And I was just gonna kind of tell you a little bit about what they are real quick, if
Cool.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one on the top is the Literacy Implementation Network. And that's actually, there's a service that's offered through the state, and then they're basically just turning around and billing us for services that they're provided with literacy-based, like a literacy-based program. So that's your top one, and it shows you the other contracted services. Those are the services that they're providing to us for the literacy network. So basically, they give us these dollars, and then they invoice us those dollars. And then we have a little bit of money there. The 15,000 is for instructional supplies and materials that we can use for that.
What about that 15,000 for instructional materials? What's
Okay,
that?
so what happens with the Literacy Network, and Ms. Wills wrote this grant, and so a portion of it goes for the services, and then there's additional 15,000 that can be used in conjunction with the services that might provide optional or additional supplies and materials.
What are we using for?
You want me to tell you what we used
Yes.
last year?
Yeah, what are you using for?
So last year, the money that was left over, we used to purchase all the, materials that we use for our writing initiative, like the writing notebooks, pens, highlighters, sticky notes, I mean, any type of supplemental materials for writing for this.
Does that go out to the teachers
Yes.
to buy the stuff in
Yes,
their
it does.
classrooms?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, if you flip to the next page, this is the CTE Perkins Reserve. So we already received the CTE Perkins grant, but Mr. Adams has written this, and this is for some additional pieces of equipment due to the growth of the CTE program. So like he may have requests for purchasing additional constructional supplies or additional supplies for horticulture, or, so these are just some additional funds that Mr. Adams reaches out and requests to continue to grow the CTE. So he already gets the Perkins, these are just additional Perkins dollars that he can reach out and receive.
And what are we using for?
Is he?
He's back there.
Oh,
You talk about Perkins.
Perkins Reserve, some of the equipment that's there.
I wrote Perkins Reserve to actually furnish a new shop for our Kubota program.
For what?
Kubota, it's for tools for that.
So it purchased tools for the shop
It's-
class?
It's going to.
Going to?
It's still, it's sitting there. There's $50,000. That's how much I wrote it for.
I have another question. Can you get a copy of all grants that are active right now in our school system? I was curious as I was looking through all this stuff, when staff writes grants, like there's bonuses that go to that person for writing the grant, why? Why isn't that money not going back into the school system? Because they're
Okay.
already on the clock for the system.
So it's not actually, like, they don't get a bonus for writing it. They write it, and they also have to work inside the program. So like, say, let's go to the LEAPS one. So the LEAPS grant was written by Ms. Wills, and it actually takes care of basically personnel is about all it can cover.
I mean, like I see it on their pay, like when you break down the budget and it talks about they have this added
Yes.
to their check for
So if
a
you will
bonus
flip-
for writing a grant. Is that a
Yes.
thing? Am I
Okay.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
let me show you that. So on the ARP homeless, that's just a quick one.
Where at?
It would be your next one after the Perkins Reserve, and it's only for $402.76. These is basically funds that were carried over last year from the homeless grant, and they allowed us to set a purchase order up to Sam's Club and to get homeless or needs that we can use during the period of the Hurricane Helene. So like, we could get
We can purchase items for
purchase
things like
supplies for
hygiene.
them, like if they need hygiene, if they need socks, if they
Laundry
need
soap.
shoes.
Yes.
Yes.
Such and such.
Yes, so it was only 402.76, but they allowed us to put this into the hurricane relief.
So nobody's getting bonuses on their checks at any time for writing grants?
No, so flip to the next page and I'll
Nobody?
explain it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
they
if
do?
you,
She's going to the next
if you
one.
flip to the next page, it's leaps.
Okay.
So the next page is leaps.
So many pages, okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. So if you'll see on LEAPS, there is and LEAPS was written by Ms. Wills, and there is a line there for supervisor, director, for teachers, clerical personnel, for educational assistant. We do not just say, here is $6,000 to the director of the program for writing this. What they have to do is they have to put hours into the program also. So like after
So are we
work,
clocking this on the payroll clock?
so what they have to do is they have to turn timesheets in for additional hours. Like if they work on Saturdays to do something.
Why aren't they doing it during the day?
Because you can't do it all day.
Don't have time? So why don't we hire a grant writer? It's gonna save the system money, don't you think? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm just learning. I mean, this is only my
There,
second.
there's a lot though. There's
Yes.
a lot of grants.
But, so we don't, and there's very few of them that you can do that with. There's only some that you can even put that into. But they have to work. They have to have timesheets showing that they worked at,
Seems to me at the end of the day, it'd be better to get a grant writer or 5 to write them maybe, so you're not paying taxes and all the stuff that builds up through the years with all the money we're paying out to individuals. Maybe not. Sounds like something we need to learn about though, right?
yeah.
Something you could
Okay.
definitely
Yes.
discuss.
I'm sorry I have so many questions.
No.
I
I want you to
apologize.
ask questions.
Okay.
So if you look at the LEAPs, the supervisor director,
Mhm.
they have to do additional work for that. They don't just get money for writing a grant. Like the auditor, we actually had the 21st Century Auditor come in 2 years ago. We didn't receive this grant for the 21st Century last year. And like he pulls timesheets, he goes through timesheets, he does all that, so.
And so those monies, those stipends that go onto payrolls, once that grant is dead,
It's gone. It's gone.
That's why I want the list of all of the active grants that we
Okay,
have, please.
that's easy, and I think that, we'll talk, I may be able to show you how to get in and look at them too.
Thank you.
So, okay, then the next one is 21st Century, and this grant assists with basically before school and after school. Once again, it's mostly personnel, but it assists JCHS, JCMS, Mountain City, and Laurel. And it just allows extra time for tutoring. There's some funds in there that covers food supplies, so they can do healthy cooking classes after school. There is some supply money, but that's divided out by the 4 schools, so not one school gets all that supply money. And then once again, this grant was written by Dr. Simcox, and there is money there if she works the additional hours.
And this is this 370,000
Yeah.
Yes, and that is actually for 4 schools.
and this is in place right now?
Well, yes, we have, like, we just.
I need
rec-
bifocals, by the way, that's why I keep doing this, 'cause I can't see nothing. Okay, go ahead.
We just received approval of these grants, and that's why because last month, remember, we brought ESSER 3 because we just received approval for these. We just received approval for these, so we're just bringing them to you to make sure that you are aware what's there.
So we're gonna have tutoring back. At that IEP meeting, you told me that we didn't have any funding left for tutoring. One of y'all, that you weren't there, you were there, Ms. South. You were telling me at that IEP meeting I attended that we don't have tutoring anymore because the grant is dead. Is that correct? Will this help us get tutoring back?
Yes, we were using the ESSER 3 grant for tutoring because we didn't have 21st Century last year. They didn't approve it. So
Well, I mean, I
this
think
year-
regardless, we need to fix this system where there's tutoring available for any kid that needs it, whether we have grant money or not.
Yes, well, this year we have grant money back to do some before and some after school.
Do we use ESSER 3 because a certain percentage of that was required to be allocated
For
toward
learning
learning
loss.
loss?
Yes, we
Yes.
had to
We had
have
to.
a certain percentage
Yes.
for learning loss.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Okay,
But we're gonna have tutoring back. When does this kick in?
I
It's-
mean,
it
it
would-
started.
We've already started it in some of the schools.
I was there the second week of September and we didn't have any tutoring available. So when did this start?
We started tutoring at Rome Creek and.
I was at Rome Creek.
I mean, it started.
Miss South, you were telling me there was no tutoring, that the grant had run out that day. So do you all have this where you have access down there?
What grade was, that was second grade? It's based on, like, I think they were saying that it was based on grade level, but grade spans. And so it's not there every day for every
Like, Rome,
grade.
it depends on the school, and, Ms. Long can speak to that as far as like what days that they have.
That's not what was
leads.
explained to me. I was just told there was no tutoring available because the grant ran out. So what do they have available?
Leaves.
What's sleep? That's
It's
your
after
tutoring
school
for
program.
everybody?
Yes,
So
that's the
Rome
one
Creek
that we
does.
just
So
talked
that was
about.
already going on when I was down there.
No,
the IEP meeting?
the way that Ms. Long explained it was that a portion, 30 minutes of that time could be some tutoring. But the other
They have to do
portion
other
of it had to
things.
be, homework,
PE,
outside,
yeah,
and there was that little 30-minute tutoring spot.
snack time.
So with you being over special education for the whole county, the tutoring, how do you implement tutoring for the kids that have special education after school? With LEAPs? Do you have special education kids that need extra help after school? And there was no you said there was no tutoring available because the grant was dead. So if little Bobby Joe can't read and he's in second grade, getting ready to approach the, God forbid, the third grade retention area, and he still can't read, what are you doing to help that kid besides just during school hours? Is there extra time after school for him in tutoring, one-on-one?
Through the leaps.
If they
Which
enroll
only
in
does
leagues,
what? How many minutes in homework is in
They
that?
do 30 minutes.
Is that one-on-one or is that just a big pile of people?
It's small
Typically
groups.
small groups.
What is small groups? How many's in there?
I think the ratio for 21st century is 1-20. What is it for
It's the
leaps?
same, but
1 to
typically
20
they're
for a
not
kid
gonna
that's not
be-
prepared to
yeah,
go to
it's-
third grade and he needs individualized help. Where do we get that?
Well, that's something
You're not
the
gonna help a
board
kid learn to read and be
Okay.
prepared for third grade when he's getting 2s and 3s on his benchmarks, and I witnessed it. I've seen it myself.
Well, that's something the board would have to approve in the budget.
Okay? What do we need to prove?
You would have to approve something to allow for additional one-on-one tutoring.
Absolutely. We want to put that on for next time? What do I gotta do?
If we're gonna have another work session, I think that's viable for us to have that
Approve.
discussion.
Work session, one-on-one tutoring, so we don't leave any child behind Johnson County way. Work session for no child without individual tutoring. Because, I mean, surely we can write grants for that, right?
If
We
they're
write
out
every
there.
grant that we can find,
We do.
but I've not saw one for.
We'll
just
find
that
it.
specific.
We'll find something, because it's gotta be in the special education realm. There's gotta be something in the special education realm to help these children have one-on-one instruction to get them prepared, correct? Because we went from not having any tutoring to now we have 21 leaps or whatever it is that you're saying they get
Leaps and
30 minutes,
21st
but
century.
one out of 20 get help. Yeah, okay, that's not sufficient. Okay, that's it. Thanks.
That's all I have.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Is that all of that?
Well, we're gonna jump to here and then we'll come back to here.
Okay, so I'm jumping through to the addendum to the agenda, Johnson County Board of Education, October 10th, 2024. Number 1, approve bonuses for all of staff, increase non-certified bonuses to 1,000 and add a $500 bonus to the certified staff who did not have one prior to this.
Yes, and this was already budgeted for last year, or budgeted last year, for non-certified to receive a fall bonus of $750. There was not anything in there for certified. We are asking to increase the non-certified to $1,000 and give a $500 bonus for certified.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second
And this will be paid out in November.
it. Actually, November
November
Do we have a
1st.
date?
November
November
1st.
I believe.
Can we set that to where it comes out every month, like every year at a certain time? Is that feasible?
That's gonna be based on payroll availability, and so we have to.
I know that was a question at some point.
I have an obligation to make sure that we pay people first. We
And
do bonuses as we fit them.
so
in.
between October and November,
Typically, we try to do that, but this year it's November the 1st.
but that'll be the area of time that they'll be.
Typically, that's the time frame we look at.
You good?
You got a first, she's got
Okay.
one.
Call roll, please.
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Yes.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Second on the addendum to the agenda is approve authorization to designate $100,000 of general purpose schools undesignated fund balance for Hurricane Helene disaster recovery efforts if needed.
I'm gonna turn that one over to Mr.
All right, this is basically a directive that my office has received from the comptroller's office. That since we are under an emergency declaration in the state, we're under a state of emergency in the county, and with that also comes a state of emergency that creates a financial emergency. The comptroller's office is asking for us to set aside money to designate to use for Hurricane Helene recovery efforts. And we basically came up with $100,000 that we're simply setting aside. If it's used, it's great. If we don't, that's great too. And then if we do, if the administration sees it pertinent that we have to use that money, then it comes back to us through amendments. But this is basically a directive of the
$100,000
comptroller's office
GP.
because of the state of emergency that the state's under.
General purpose.
So it's just kind of sitting there in case we need it?
It's sitting there in case we need it.
What do you mean by it comes back to us through
Well,
amendments?
the board would still have to approve how those funds are distributed since we're taking it from undesignated fund balance and bringing it into the operating budget.
But we may not even have to do that.
We
at
may
all.
not have to do that.
What are some examples of what we would use it for?
Potential manpower overtime. I mean, we could get into situations. I can give you better situations on the county side than I can the schools at this point.
I know one of the things, insurance, we've had so many trees fall
Yeah.
on fences. There's some things that insurance will not cover, that they've already said their
We can
claims will
probably
not
get
cover.
we got volunteers in the community. We've been doing it the last 2 weeks. We'll fix them, won't we? We can get people together. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We can do that and save the money. Don't you think?
But just those kind of scenarios, if there's something that insurance will not cover. Yeah,
A fence?
the
Like
fence.
you had to replace something.
So we don't have anything in line right now that's needing attention?
I don't believe so.
It's just a directive of the comptroller to have this money put aside, just
We're
in
Yeah,
just-
I mean,
case.
that's a good
We're just
idea,
Yeah,
but it's not moving anywhere unless
No.
we need it.
No.
It still will come back to this body to move it.
and you will have your approval if we.
We're
have
just
to.
setting it aside, but we have to approve ourselves
We'll be
anything
approving
that
it,
comes out
okay.
of it.
Yes.
All right.
And I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Will you please call roll?
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Yes.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Number 3 on the addendum to the agenda is approve Laurel Elementary parking lot with Inland Construction Incorporated in the amount of $280,000, attachment 3-bid tabulation sheet with Shaw and Shanks Architects, PC.
And you do have that on the back of your addendum. I know we've spoken about that earlier. We did only have one bid come in, so, and then, like I said, the architect is here and can answer any
And we
questions.
appreciate you
He's
taking
great.
your time to get up and explain it to all of us. That's fabulous.
He's great.
I feel like we screwed up with this, with how long this
Well,
is
we
taking.
screwed up months ago by not taking care of it, but here
I
we
know.
are.
Because we went from originally looking at $15,857 to pave the strip, or $117,851 at that time to pave the entire thing, to then receiving a proposal for a $205,000 paving project, that we now have a final program in front of us that's $75,000 over budget on that. I'm all about taking care of Laurel School, but is there not some better way we can throw $300,000 at that school? I mean, we could replace, I know when I was in there and I looked at the desks, a lot of the chairs have rust on the bottom. They're aging. A new desk and a chair would be $200. You can replace every desk and chair in that school for $20,000. We could go through and pave the strip. With the architect involved, it's obviously going to be much more expensive than the $117,000, but we could go through, pave the strip, add 5 parking spaces, gravel the rest of the parking lot, put brand new chairs and desks in the entire thing, and probably have some money left over to work on your floor for less than we would for just this one thing.
So what you're saying, you think maybe we should hold off and get some, since it's not gonna be done until spring anyway, wait until everybody recovers from all this
I don't
mess?
see any reason we can't, and we have
And get more
one
bids?
bid.
That's what I'm saying,
We
let
got
everybody
one
recover
bid.
from everything, get better bids,
Or
'cause
give,
it's not
an
gonna be starting
option to have the architect rebid it in the spring,
in the spring, early spring,
Early
like
spring.
January.
to have it in place.
But if they're gonna bid, they've gotta be ready to start that bad boy as soon as the weather allows pavement to be laid.
What if your materials go up between now and then?
Good question.
It's possible.
Do you want to table it till we get a few, maybe get some more bids? Is that possible, sir?
If I'm not mistaken, they also did these bids on Monday or Tuesday, right after the hurricane came through. That might have played a factor in the fact no one showed up to look at it, because they had a set time they could come on, what, Monday? Was it Monday or Tuesday? Monday? Tuesday, so we were 3 days. I mean, we were 3 days outside of the county getting destroyed. I'm sure that probably factored into the fact that no one wanted to show up and take a look at it. But just one bid is, you know, personally on anything we do, I would love to see 3 bids. 3's the magic number.
Tom, what would be the logistics if the board rejected this and instructed you to rebid this sometime early spring to have this in place? Potentially, you know, depending on how this, a lot of this is going to depend on when we get back to school, the logistics of how we're going to get kids back, and when, you know, then we also have to deal with our inclement weather to have this in place to where idealistically they could roll with this, say, early May to put this down about the time school's out.
Yeah, I can do whatever you all instruct me to do. And I think I'm with you. We always want 3 bids, at least 2, so you have some comparison. But we begged people to bid it and just couldn't do it. Will it be any better in the spring? I have no idea. They may be more busy in the spring, and materials may go up in the spring.
In the meantime,
What size of people you need to do this job? I mean, like, what kind of,
Well,
like,
they have to be licensed. They have to be
licensed,
able to
insured.
afford bonds and insurance and sign affidavits of drug-free workplace and things that a lot of
they have
these
to be
guys
completely
around here just
legit?
don't have.
Yeah, it
Okay,
has to be.
okay.
So it takes a, you know, a license.
Yeah, I did
So-
construction for years.
So in the meantime, just to buy them some breathing room and still get the entire area more usable again, if we were to at least go through and gravel it, could it then be paved over if it was gravel?
Well, sure. Of course, it just depends. I mean, if they just go in and put gravel on, the gravel may very well have to come up and be the subgrade tested and then new gravel put down and pavement on top of it.
It's gonna be
Yeah, there's
snowing
no
soon.
need to
Almost
waste
all this other disaster.
Waste of materials.
How many days, once this project were to start, how many days would these guys take to get this down, start to finish? How many days?
Well, probably 45 to 60. There's grading to do, and there's stormwater management to do, and there's a little bit of tree work to do, and things like that. So it's not like just a paving crew can show up one afternoon and do it.
Right.
You gotta cut 10 inches down,
You gotta
level
prep.
the site, and proof roll it to make sure it's stable, and fix any bad spots, and, you know, then put down the base stone and pavement and the storm drainage lines, and cross the road with a new pipe. I mean, there's more to it.
The representative from Inland Construction said yesterday he needed about 5 weeks of prep time before it'd be ready for pavement. Is that right, Mr. Shanks, somewhere around there?
Yes.
So he would be working on it about 5 weeks with
Just prepping.
grading and all that stuff before it would be ready.
But they also built themselves in a time period, I think it was what, 211 days? So they're not planning on getting there starting anytime.
Well, they weren't because.
210 days
because we're
from
going
11/1. The
because we're going
210
in-
days, that's from 11/1, like right now.
Right, that would start the clock on November the 1st. If we started the clock on March the 1st, it'd be 60 days maybe.
So the 211 is an extreme example. That's not the norm.
That's,
Sure.
that's
based
from
on
like
fact.
right now. That's like start date from now,
Yeah,
not
that's-
how long it's gonna take them to complete prep
Right.
and follow through.
Yeah, that's
Like-
based on the fact that they know they're going into winter.
Right. So in a perfect world, normally without the current situation we've got as far as roads being repaired, everything being destroyed, that would probably be what, 90 days?
30 to
-ish?
45 days, you said,
I would
didn't you?
say 60.
60?
Okay. But you're right, materials may go up.
Y'all got a lot of paving. Paving costs gonna go up. Now, I'm not saying I'm not encouraging you to do this, because it's certainly your own decision, but costs may very well go up.
It's
between now and
definitely gonna
spring.
go up in this area because of all the disasters you have in the state highways and the county highways.
So is this a locked-in price? So if they can't get to it
It's locked
until
in.
spring, it's locked in, no matter what the price of the asphalt's gonna be?
It's locked in for, let's see, I think it's 60 days. They can't change their bid for.
Can't change their bid, you got 60 days to vote on it, you mean? Once
They
we,
have-
if
they
we
have
say
to honor-
yes and accept this bid,
They
then they're
have-
locked.
They have to honor their bid for 60 days from the
But-
date of receipt of bids.
So, but yet they're not gonna start the work until spring. So once we say yes or no, if we say yes, we have 60 days to say yes to lock them in completely, correctly? Is that correct?
That's correct. You have
Okay.
60 days
So
to
if we lock them
From the
in
date of bid.
from the day of it, so say we vote today, we lock them in, they're not gonna up those prices
They
next
can't.
May,
No,
right?
right.
Nothing can change.
So do you think there is a
If you
chance?
go ahead and.
If we
you
approve
instigate
it
a
now,
contract,
within the 60-day
Yeah.
period, that in May, when the pavement starts going down, the grading work
they-
starts, they
right,
cannot
they
change
can't
that
come
price.
back and say,
Okay.
So
payment went up.
if we table tonight and vote on this next month, we're still within the locked-in period on this price. Do you think you can get any more bids on this?
No.
There's a gentleman
We-
back here,
we
sir.
can't-
There's a gentleman back here. Can you stand up? Thank you.
I'm licensed, bonded, insured.
What's your name?
Eric Clifton.
Where are you from, Eric?
Jackson's dad.
It's Jackson's.
Well, hello, Jackson's dad. You want a bid on it?
I can submit a bid.
You got all the legal stuff they just said you needed?
I do. I'll have to get the specifics from the architect to look at it, but I can at least get you another bid that way.
What
The
is
only way
he-
we can do that is to rebid the project. We can't just take another bid once one bid's on the table. You'd have
So
to
we can
reject
reject this one though,
and
and
rebid.
then we still have our 60 days
No,
from the
no,
day of the
no.
bid.
Once you reject it,
All right,
that
well,
one's
let's
done.
Agreed.
Okay, motion to reject.
Second.
What are you laughing at?
Motion to reject this bid here.
I'm just
Is that what we're voting on?
And a rebid.
Okay, we're good.
Serena, you call roll.
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Yes.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Yes, it says no. They're working on 421.
They chose.
We
to
gotta
not
get
bid.
the Boone sister.
Well, I know that, but at one time they said they would donate all the materials.
Says no.
I know that, I just wondered if that was.
You call them and let us know.
The answer to that question, we have spoken directly with Mayme.
They
said
will
could
donate
not
the-
do it.
They're
Maybe
building
we'll donate
421, sister.
material.
Pardon?
Did you say maybe would donate some?
I didn't say that. I said I've spoken with them. They said they would not be.
Well, I live at 1111. Tell them to come on. It's not too cold.
And I don't mean that to be harsh as the way I said it. They would love to have bid it. They said, we just can't.
Of course they
With the
can't.
flood and all the trucks that got
Yeah.
washed away.
They got a lot of work to do.
Right. They said they just couldn't do it.
Okay, so is that what we're doing?
Well, we've rejected the bid, we just gotta,
Motion it.
So now we need
She already
to,
called roll, so we good?
so we just need to give him some instruction about what we want him to do next.
so do we need to authorize you to get new bids?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be the procedural thing to do.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the director of schools to acquire new bids for the Laurel paving project.
And I'll second that.
Serena, will you call roll?
Yes.
We're about to get it.
Mr. Greenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Here.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
All right.
We will do that.
Or there's so many papers up here. Here we are.
Okay.
All right, director's report from Michelle Simcox.
Yes. Want to be able to share, every time this year since TISA has come out, we are required by law to just share a TISA accountability report. We have to have 3 goals. The first one is required through TISA, and it has to do with 3rd grade ELA. And this just shows that our goal is 30% of students will score proficient on the 3rd grade ELA TCAP assessment by 2026. You're thinking, why is it only 30%? You take it from the benchmark that you start with, and then you have to allocate certain percentages. So if you see in 22-23, we had 22% of our 3rd grade students scored proficient. We did have an increase from last year to this year, we increased 4% to 26%. So this is just something we're required to present to you all. Our second goal that we came up with was based on 3 through 12 math, and this is going with TCAP and the end of course, and you can see in 22-23 we had 18%. Please keep in mind with this goal, this is not only Johnson County students, this is Connection Academy students as well, so they're included in this. We did have an increase in math from 18 to 22.6%. We know math is a focus for us right now, big time, so that is something we are working on with professional development and resources. And then our last goal is around ACT Composite, the College Readiness Benchmark score. We had 20% in 22-23, and it increased to 22.4% in 23-24, and we're doing all kinds of things in grades 6 through 12 to help increase ACT. So just letting you know what our TISA accountability report says. Today is Custodian Appreciation Day. So if you see a custodian this week, please tell them thank you. They do a great job of keeping our schools clean. We are on fall break next week. That was already scheduled in the calendar. I do want to share with you, as of tomorrow, we have missed 12 days. I do have it in writing from the State Department. We are having to count these as snow days, but they will waive these days for us once we get back in school, which means once we get back in school, we'll get our 13 snow days back. We're just having to utilize them.
And this
right
will
now.
not be added on to the end of the year.
This will not be added on to the end of the year, no. Only if we miss our true 13 snow days.
Okay.
Just to give you all some information, Herbie and I did talk to the road department today, and we appreciate everything they have done. They are working so hard. We talked to Tracy just to try to get an idea, when do you think we can be back in school? We have a very, very ambitious goal right now of October the 28th. I don't know if that will happen. We will not be in school. I can go ahead and tell everybody, and we'll have this posted tomorrow. We will not be in school the week of October 21st. Next week is fall break. Then we have the week of October 21st. We will not be in school. The roads are just too out. We can't have our buses traveling on roads that aren't there. So as of right now, our goal is hopefully the 28th. We will reassess this next week with the road department and work with them. Just to make everyone aware, I just want to say thank you to everybody. The community support, the support we have received from surrounding schools, from schools across the state, has been so amazing. Our employees have worked so hard. The middle school, high school, and we've even had elementary school students come in and volunteer to help. It's so heartfelt to see what's going on at these schools because people want to help. But our employees they need a little bit of a break too. So next week, and we'll get this posted this evening, the only resource center that will be open will be the one at Mountain City. It will be open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 2 to 6. We will not, after tomorrow, we're not going to be receiving any more deliveries because we're running out of space to put everything. And we do have to think about when we get back in school, where are we going to store all these supplies that we're receiving. The showers at the high school will be open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week from 9 to 3. The laundry, we will have laundry services at the old field house. Everybody knows where that is. That will be 8 to 8 every day. That will be open as part of our homeless site. We'll open that up for everyone. And at the high school, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 to 3. We won't have anything open other than the field house on Thursday and Friday of next week. And we will not be open this weekend like we were last weekend. Again, no school the week of October the 21st. And we'll just get all that information and let you know as we know things. We will keep everyone posted on that.
Director, is Laurel School, are they providing chairs at their facility?
All schools are.
Okay.
All schools have a resource site. Mountain City is the easiest one to get to for the general public, but Laurel they have abundance of supplies and they're getting stuff out to families. Rome Creek is packed and they've got. There was six guys there last Friday afternoon when we were there at 6 o'clock getting some stuff off from Myrtle Beach that had come with side-by-sides to go help and deliver stuff. And then Doe the same thing. They have the resource center. We don't have as much at the middle school and high school because they're mainly using them for showers and laundry, but there is some supplies up there as well.
Okay, are people not coming out, families not coming out to pick up supplies or nothing?
No, we have all kinds of families coming out, but some can't get out. So those that we know can't get out, we're helping to deliver. They just have to call and tell us. So, and last thing I want to share. I do want to share something on behalf of Mr. Holloway. He asked me to share this with everyone, and I'm just going to read this to everyone. It is with great regret that due to unforeseen health issues, I have to resign from the Johnson County School Board and as the chairman for the Johnson County School Board effective immediately. I am grateful for having had the opportunity to serve on the board of this fine organization for the past 2+ years, and I offer my best wishes for its continued success. This was very hard for him. For those that know Mr. Holloway, beloved educator in our school system, a beloved man in our community. Please keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and he did ask that I share. And I told him I was just going to read his letter. He said, no, I want everybody to know why. He has had a stroke in his eye, and he cannot see. And so please remember him. Keep him in your thoughts, your prayers. Lift him up in spirit. And if you call him. He loves phone calls. He wants to talk. But he did ask that I share all that with everyone, and we will miss him. He's a great man. So that's all I have.
I have something else. I don't know how well I can add this, but I finally got this contract I've been trying to reach for many months. I have a question, if the board will allow me to talk. I've been asking for this for many months, actually back starting in March, and I kept getting MOUs, which is actually not a contract. Okay, you might have seen me in July 11th waiting for this. I approached it last night in the meeting with the staff, and a lot of people were confused, like you didn't know, about her contracts. So, actually, I don't understand.
Okay.
So, you have had a nurse practitioner, and I'm not just picking on her, but by God, these kids deserve better. Okay, we're not here at Friends and Family Hour. So, I've been waiting on this. I've been talking to the attorney. I'm waiting on a call back from our attorney, and I've also talked to the attorney for the Tennessee State Board of Education. So, as I asked last night, and through all the email threads we've had for several months now, you all know I have all those email threads. Nobody could actually tell me why that initial contract back in March 16th, 2015 was signed as saying that it was Johnson County School Systems entering into this contract with Carter County Schools. Okay? That was never such a thing. I've spoke with people, and that is never such a thing. That was written. It was never good when the ink hit the paper. That was also an MOU, and then it was expired on top of that. And then you told me the week before July 11th that you had a new contract, and that's when I came July 11th with the contract. So we're getting ready to roll through here, and all of us I wasn't up here, but everybody was going to sign off and just willy-nilly let it roll through here, which places everybody at a legal lawsuit, puts them at liability for HIPAA and everything else when it comes to children in healthcare. If you know what that means, it's a whole lot of bad. So there will be no more contracts coming through here. I know I'm just temporary. I'm the vice chair, and I'm just filling in for a moment until we re-vote on that. And the county is now officially going to the county commission will now have to appoint a new board member. Okay, so now chair does not actually go to the vice chair. That'll have to be elected. A lot of things can't move in here until that is done, so we'll have to ask the county commission to appoint us somebody for now. However, this is something that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed now. It's not on the agenda, and I just want to put it on the agenda or whatever for voting. This right here states, like I said, we are paying a nurse practitioner full-time in our system with benefits and everything else and pensions, while she's also not our employee. She's being paid by EMD. That's why you couldn't find the contract I've been asking for since March. It was an MOU. This right here is a legal contract dated July 1st, 2018, about the same time that another region got rid of their employee for that reason, because they were actually getting paid $6,000 by EMD into their school systems to offset the prices to pay for their nurses. Okay? No, instead of that, we're just throwing out $117 because we're friends and family. When actually EMD would have provided the NP, so we have been paying as a system for all these years. We've been handing over $117,000 with pension, when this company right here has been paying her. Okay, and we know this is happening. Let's not act like we don't. And on top of that, she's been getting personal checks written to her by family members. So I put a motion in right now, legal or not, who knows, like there's an attorney around here a minute ago. I want to put a motion in to halt telehealth services effectively immediately today until all of this can be reviewed. We do not need telehealth services in our community. Most communities do not have that. We are in the top 5% of educational areas in the state of Tennessee, but we're 0 on education. So we need to turn our focus back around and get education where it needs to be, and that means books, that means teachers that want to teach. If you don't want to teach, retire. That's where we're at in this time of life, all of you, everybody. If you're not qualified for your job, it's time to go. We're working on that next. We've gone through qualifications. It's not Johnson County qualification, it is state and it is federal. If you are in systems where you need to be federal, we should have a psychological examiner that can definitely do dyslexia screenings. That's part of the federal program, not state. It's definitely not our local laws. There's a lot going on here, sorry. A lot of researching going on. But I feel at this point that people are not wanting to be part of this. We have staff that is scared to be part of this, and I think we need to table telehealth right now until this can be resolved, because right now we have an employee that's being paid on state dollar, taking away from our budget when she's actually being paid right there, and getting personal checks from the parents into personal hands. And I was told that those checks are being handed over to you. Do you have a list of paychecks, the co-pays going into the school system? Where are all the co-pays? That's what I was told last night. You were sitting here, weren't you? When I asked, I said, "Where's the co-pay checks?" They're being written to her directly, and she sat right there where Terry Steele is tonight, and she said that all the checks that are being written to her are being turned into the school system.
EMD.
She ain't turning them into EMD, honey. She's the provider getting those co-pays. She is a contractor by EMD. She is contracted by EMD while she's sitting in our school system working. She literally sat there last night and told me that all the paychecks, all the checks she's gotten was turned into y'all. Where are they? How long has she been in our system, and who's monitoring this? Who's monitoring this? Who?
We get no checks.
So who's allowed this to go on? Who's in charge? Nobody?
Not me.
Who's in charge of her? Who's in charge of her? Who's in charge? Are you in charge?
I'm in charge, but the board did approve for this in
The board didn't
2018.
approve this. They even had this, honey. Y'all don't even have it. This was hers. That's why I finally got it.
Yes.
This is how I finally got it. I've been asking y'all since March, and I have all the email threads asking for this information, and all y'all would ever give me was an MOU. Did I not tell you? Did I not tell you? I told you I'd find it. There it is. That is a contract that you have an employee in here in this building that you're paying $117,000 a year with benefits and pensions and everything else.
She doesn't make that much.
Well, pull the thing. Benefits. Okay, so what? So what? I don't care if she's making 5 cents. It's 5 cents too much when she's working for somebody else in our school system, and you all don't even know that. Y'all are supposed to be leading us. Every one of y'all in central offices is supposed to be leading us. And now y'all can't even tell me that you didn't know that somebody was working outside of here. Who is protecting our children? Huh? Who's doing it? We just letting any willy-nilly person come up in here and give medical to our children? And you all don't even know? You're central office and you don't know? You don't know who's in here doing this?
I have a question.
Yeah.
If she's, she's hard with this company here,
She's an employee. She's an independent contractor.
independent company.
Yeah, here.
How much has she been paid through here?
I don't know. I was looking on the paperwork, but apparently I'm wrong with benefits. It says about $117,000. I'm wrong. Will you find it for me? Breaking down in insurance, retirement benefits, health insurance, and everything else. But regardless, why are we paying out of our budget for somebody that's employed by somebody else? Anybody know? No? No? Nobody knows?
This was brought in front of the board in
Y'all didn't tell anybody in the board that she was working.
2015.
That was in the previous paper. That was the
in the
previous paper. That's the one you had redone by McCarty because it said Johnson County school systems are going into contract services to be provided in Carter County, Tennessee. That was wrong because it wasn't in Carter County, Tennessee. It was in Johnson County. You came back the week before January or July 11th when I came in here, and I came before because I'd already requested for all the contracts coming through to be sent to me prior to the meeting. I walk in the door in July 11th for that meeting, and I had the contracts. Y'all were pushing them through, and I came and I said afterwards, stop. Quit going through here. And you thought that because you stood up and said, no, it's medical when I asked you what the therapy, Stellar Therapy Services were, because it was all about HIPAA and everybody was getting ready to clear it. Everybody was getting ready to approve it. And nobody knew what it was. You thought it was medical, or you thought it was therapy. She came up behind you and said it was medical. But that went with all these other contracts that are going in right there, and that's the one I wanted. But we didn't have it because it wasn't in our school system, okay? That's a private contract. That's not, that you didn't have it, you only had the MOU. So the lawyer, yeah, he fixed the first one all right, which was no good when the ink hit it back in 2015, and he fixed it, but he failed to fix the personal independent contractor contract where she's been in your school system running this.
This was signed in 2018.
As what, Gary? Does she work for the school system, or what does that say?
It says that contract EMD or company in Wendy Henley hereafter refers to as consultant or contractor.
Not with system, with Wendy.
EMD and Wendy Henley are referred to collectively hereafter as the partners and each individual as a partner.
So we're getting paid there as
And
an
it was-
independent contractor to offer telehealth services and getting personal checks written to you for co-pays, yet we're paying through our school system. So is she an employee of the state of Tennessee with Johnson County School Systems, or is she an employee with EMD? As of last night, she told me she was employed by both. But yet that happens during school hours, so you can't work for another company when you're working for another company.
And it was, see, contractor is Wendy Henley. And Johnson County School Representative Dr. Michelle Simcox, signed on 7/24.
And yet you're paying her as an employee
2018.
here.
She
And
is
you
paid by an
signed that.
employer here,
She
yes.
cannot work 2 jobs.
The board didn't allow that at
It
that
does,
time.
the law don't allow it. Don't matter what Johnson
The
County
board
School
didn't
Board
allow that.
allows. The law. Is that legal, Bit? Can you work 2 jobs at the same time?
That's civil, I don't get into that.
Civil, well, I can tell
You
you.
got an attorney, I think I'd call him before I make that.
Yeah, I'm waiting on a call back. Actually, I've talked to 2 attorneys today. So I make a motion to halt telehealth until this is resolved, until, at least till, well, there's no school anymore anyway. I make a motion to halt all telehealth services and anybody else coming in working on these hours for such a thing in our school system until this can be taken care of by the attorneys.
Is
Can
there
we do
any,
that?
is there any negative impact on the children if we halt it right
They
now?
will not have telehealth services.
They're not in school.
But they may still use telehealth.
And they do.
The question I have is, I know what you want to do, we gotta do it right.
And it's for students and employees.
Can we get Chris McCarty on the phone?
I don't know
If
that
we-
I
if
can.
we
I
took-
know I can't right now because he is on pole break.
But what?
Somebody's outside crying, upset, something's going on out there, but it's out there.
Do they need a hug?
No, I think it's like, I don't know.
It's Halloween.
You think it's medical or just upset?
I don't know.
It's
out there.
Huh?
She's getting
Who?
I don't know. It's the older
Who?
Let's do this. Before we halt this,
I don't.
let's bring this
Listen.
back for discussion.
And I can get Chris McCarty.
And then that gives us time to get
I want Chris McCarty on the phone first thing in the morning because this needs to be resolved, because does she even have an active collaborating physician? The other school system I talked to got rid of them because they refused to pay the $6,000 per year that school system was supposed to be paid by EMD to offset where their nurses made more an hour. Our nurses don't make enough to feed their dog, more or less their family. And Carter County got rid of the same company, EMD, and so did other counties around us. All these counties got around us because they were not paying them because they almost went bankrupt. So those counties, those school systems were getting paid stipends by EMD into their school systems to pay for their nurses, so the nurses made more money. Because the MPs that work for these are getting paid by EMD and they're getting the co-pays, okay? Then who else is billing the insurance? But as a board, like I said before on July 11th, who is monitoring the legalities? As every single board member up here, and Johnson County school system is at risk every day. Because do you guys have in place top line security? Do you have firewalls? Do you have HIPAA? Do you have HIPAA compliant screens? Do you have non-disclosures for anybody that enters those nurses stations? Do you have all the refrigerator temps? Do you have everything checked in date? Is all the medications in date? I'll be glad to walk through every single nurses station. Everybody better have all this in compliance because your name's on it and everybody that was here before us, their name's on it and it holds them legally liable. HIPAA violations is $10,000 per each violation, I believe, and we can no longer have children being pulled out of class to go in and translate for Spanish-speaking kids because that is HIPAA violations. And I've yet to see where we have one single translator in the last several years.
We have one now.
Yeah, well, that doesn't matter. How many years we've been doing telehealth and get pulling out people to translate? I can tell you how several, okay? Because my daughter's best friend did it. She never got to go to class because she was too busy translating all day long.
I'll be happy to reach out to Chris. I do know he is on vacation this week because he sent out an email to all those schools that he is with. So I can call him first thing Monday morning.
What is today? No,
Thursday.
Isn't he on, he's on as our legal counsel, right? We have a legal issue.
But he's on vacation.
Who backs him up? Ben Torres?
No, that's TSBA. Caitlin.
We need her then. Somebody's got to back him up
I
because
can-
he's on our payroll.
I can call her.
Okay, we need her tomorrow,
But I don't-
please.
Madam
Okay.
Chairman, I
Yes-
have a
yes, sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
The director just said that we have a translator now.
Now, we haven't ever before.
Okay, my question is, if that translator asked that kid or something a question, what prevents them from being in violation of spreading
It's in violation all the time. I hear stories about it all
that
the time.
information?
Little kids go out from the nurse's station, they're going back down the halls and they're talking about what's wrong with their friend. I don't want to bring up names, but I got them if we need to. Of youngins going in and having to translate for Spanish-speaking kids for the nurses, and then the little kids are going back in the hall and telling all their friends what's wrong. That's HIPAA. So there you go. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but enough's enough. Been working on this since March, trying to get this very piece of paper, and boom, there it is. So, I'm sorry, and Michelle, I'm not trying to take it out personally, but as somebody that's supposed to be leading our school, and you're not knowing what's going on in our school, and you're the director of schools, there's questions.
Well, I know telehealth goes on, and I.
Well, I mean, I know you know telehealth goes on.
I mean,
but
my children
yeah.
utilized it.
Okay,
I've
but
utilized
like
it.
I've asked you since March, and all those emails that we have, the threads.
And we sent you what we had.
And
Yes.
you were saying that you knew that she didn't get the copay, but Wendy had already told me she did. So you didn't know then
She gets
either.
the copay for the physicals. That part I knew.
No.
This is.
And guess what else? She cannot legally do physicals.
And-
She cannot do physicals. She cannot do physicals. If she's not sitting by this machine for every single physical, so people can some people can call in and talk to me or any other board member. If you've had a child doing a physical that was not attached to the EMD machine, we need to know. So if your kid had a sports physical, a school physical, any kind of physical, okay, and your kid was not in the telehealth room, and your kid was in the backyard or the field or the gym, and there was no telehealth equipment, and it wasn't recording in telehealth equipment, those physicals are no good, okay? Because she cannot do physicals or do any of this stuff in the state of Tennessee without a collaborating physician. She doesn't have one. All she has is a collaborator through this company she works for, and she's working out of our school system, and you're paying her to do it. So, we need that attorney on the phone in the morning to get this straightened up. So,
I will call her.
technically, all those physicals that were done, if they were not done on EMD, they're null and void because she does not have a collaborator overseeing her. And we've allowed that on school grounds, and you're the boss.
Let me ask you this, do we have to have a nurse practitioner
No,
in this
no,
position?
no. The highest degree you need to run a school system is an RN, which is an associate's degree. It's a 2-year degree. I used to be one many years ago before I kept going back to school. You do not. There's nobody, there's hardly anybody, there's not even the ones in Nashville because it eats your school system up. Most people, if they want something like telehealth, they may have a little clinic, okay? We don't need this in Johnson County. We don't need to be paying this out of pocket in our budgets. Let's buy something the youngins need, like tutoring. You know what I mean? There's a lot better places to spend this money. How about taking the money that's being spent uselessly and give it to the nurses that can't feed their families that are out there actually doing the work. How about that?
And at the time, I can tell you, at the time that the telehealth was brought to us, the board did.
Doesn't matter about the board.
The board
doesn't
did
matter.
vote, and when she got her nurse practitioner, they added an additional.
That's 2018.
Salary.
That was 2018. They
Line
did,
item
but
on
did
that.
anybody that? No. We're not passing the buck.
I'm not passing
You're-
the buck, I'm stating a fact.
You're her boss.
I'm stating a fact, I'm not passing the buck. I'm
Well,
just
that's
stating a
also
fact.
like that night on July 11th when I came, and I sat right here, and I come in sideways late, and I had a pile of stuff that I'd asked you for all of those contracts, right? And I'd asked you for all the old contracts, and I was gonna compare them to the new contracts. Do you think these guys have time to read all those words? I sat right there, and then after the thing, I came up to you and I specifically asked you, I said, what's this contract with Stellar? And you said, therapy. And then Angie runs up behind me. I don't forget anything, by the way. Angie runs up behind me and goes, no, that's medical. And you go, oh, well, it's medical.
I know it is still
but your
therapy.
your words were,
Yeah,
you'll
I
have
said
to,
therapy.
you said,
Have to ask Wendy.
you'll have to ask Wendy. No, because your signature was on it. You signed it, and you were having it through this board to approve it. And that's why I said, when I got up here on my first meeting in September, we ain't gonna be doing no more of that. We're not gonna be working on sending contracts through here where nobody knows what's going on. We're not gonna just willy-nilly sign this stuff. Those guys didn't even know, did you, Gary? Y'all had no clue. None. Zero clue. Were you all even aware that there was the NP was on probation? Only 2 said yes. 2 out of 5 knew. That's because we forgot long ago that you work for the board. The board doesn't work for you. And I'm not trying to be ugly, but I'm done. I'm done watching this stuff go through the system, and I'm done watching people that are not qualified to do their jobs, doing jobs that they're getting paid a lot of money for on state level. There's no requirements, okay? There's lots of positions we're going to be looking at. But this is the number one because it's dealing with children's health. And this is dealing with people's health. I dang sure wouldn't want to go to a provider that was just willy-nilly out here running wild. Okay? And I sure the heck don't want them touching my youngin'. Okay? If you don't even have a license to do the physicals outside of
This is
EMD.
something we're not gonna settle tonight.
No, we're not.
But you have a motion on the floor to suspend telehealth. Let's procedurally go through the process and see what happens.
Okay. I make a motion to suspend telehealth.
Now second.
All right,
School's not even in right now.
well, we need a vote.
Mr. Grieber,
Yes.
Ms. Klein,
Here.
Mr. Matheson,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes. Now,
We have to
It-
check with the attorney.
we need to check with the attorney, but then this is something that we need to deal with
Mhm.
before our next meeting.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow. We'll deal with it tomorrow when we hear from the attorney.
Okay.
Yes? Special called meeting. You can get you can get McCarty's person on the line.
I'll call her in the morning.
No problem.
Deal? When we want to meet?
While we're sitting here, let's set a date.
Let's set a date. Any questions from anybody out there? Anybody have any concerns? Anything? No? Okay, great. Gary? Any problems, any issues, any thoughts? Chad? Y'all down there?
Don't we
Anybody?
have to move the November meeting up, or we
No.
did this year?
No, because the first is on a Friday.
Oh,
So we're
gotcha.
It's the 10th.
We need to probably meet tomorrow night or Monday night to discuss what this attorney says before
Well, you
going
gotta have
forward.
notice.
We gotta
You have to
follow that.
notice.
So
72
tomorrow's
days.
24 hours, and
We gotta do it.
Well, I gotta make sure I can talk to her. I mean, I will call her first thing in the
how
morning.
about Wednesday evening, that's
But-
72?
I'm out of town next week.
Okay.
'Cause it's
Well, we
fall
can't
break.
leave it out too far. Can we have you come in on a Zoom?
No, I have my vacation planned.
Oh, you're on vacation,
Correct,
vacation.
yeah.
Okay.
What about the week of the 21st?
The
Okay, well, what are we
21st
gonna
sounds
do? Are we gonna
fantastic.
halt it that long until we make
Well,
a
I mean,
decision?
We just
pretty well-
killed
we
it
pretty well
tonight.
halted
We
it.
halted it.
We halted
It's
it.
stopped.
I mean,
So it's
there's
gonna
no
be
more service.
okay until we get that done in a week,
Well, that logistically gives her time to get Chris,
okay?
and so
Week from Monday.
So
we wanna do it on Monday the 21st, we'll do it on, I'm just pitching dates out here.
The next
Yeah,
Monday.
as quickly as
A
possible.
week
so the
from Monday.
21st
So
will be
you're
fine.
gone next week, and that'll give her time to do
so the
that.
21st,
21st at what, 5:30?
5:30 work for you?
Yeah, it works for
We'll
me.
just do 5:30.
Y'all, what were
Okay.
you, did you guys have something?
5:30.
No? Nothing? Okay. So when is it?
There's been a lot of talk about the telehealth thing, that, and I mean, my question is this.
why is the school system paying telehealth? Are we doing that for students?
Students and employees, the
So
reason it
why,
was.
so why do you do that? I
The
mean, how
reason-
did that get started, or?
The reason that at the time the board wanted to listen to that was to help keep not only students in school, but to keep employees in school, because it's a benefit for them.
Well, I understand employees, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're paying their insurance. I mean, the school system's not paying insurance for all the children in the county. I mean, if that's available to everyone, is it made known to everyone that, does every parent know that that's available to them? I mean, if we're paying
Yes.
for it anyway.
You have to fill out a form at the beginning of the year, given permission.
Okay.
And it has helped with chronic absenteeism, because if a student just comes to the nurse and says, and I'm just giving an example,
Yeah.
principals, please share if it's something different, but they think they may have strep throat, if the parent can't take them to the doctor.
So it's something that's done at the school?
Yes, it is
I
done at
understand.
the schools.
Okay, that
Yes.
clears up.
I see where, yes, it is done at the
That
schools, for
Understood.
students and employees if they wanna take.
And I think the reason that we started that is we used to have a rural health bus
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
came. It was actually how, like, we kept the bus at the bus garage, and that program stopped, and that's when we
Yeah, that-
implemented telehealth.
If
A
it's
lot
done
of
at the
places
school,
don't even-
And so the board
after
wanted-
someone comes to school nurse and then it's done, I
Yeah.
understand.
No.
The board wanted to try to find something to help our students and our
replace that.
employees. To replace
There's
that.
like almost 0 systems in the state of Tennessee that
That do
employ
it
a nurse
at all.
practitioner.
I understand.
So there is a place out in Clarksville, Tennessee that has a clinic, but they have it outsourced. Okay, Ballad can come in if you want to talk to them and they can do telehealth, but there's no reason. So if she wants to be an employee by EMD, fine, do it. But why are we as a system paying her as well to be an NP? I don't understand why we have a position for an NP, but yet she's employee of us and them. I don't understand that. That's what I don't understand. I mean,
Those are the legal things we're going to work through.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
I know.
Why would that even happen?
I mean, at this point, we all
Okay,
have
but we don't
questions.
know. We don't know. Okay.
Can I ask a question? This is Booker about, you've got your homeschool from Johnson County, right? People being homeschooled. How did they get books? They have books for homeschooling. I mean, it's just,
We don't- we don't
state
provide
level.
books.
No, but if they can get it state level, call them up, see where they get their books at.
What's the question?
Cause I mean, it's state.
Elijah back there, I think Lisa used to be over homeschool, right? What was her name?
No, Edna.
Edna.
She wanted to know homeschool,
That one
how do
paper
they
you
get
gave me
this?
said Lisa. Back in March, it said that Lisa was the homeschool director.
Oh, Edna.
You gave me a
No,
paper
it-
that showed me everybody's jobs
I
and,
don't have
This
Lisa
is
here.
your K through 12 homeschool, not like.
I don't know, I am
Casey
now.
Johnson.
I have that paper you gave me that back in March. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, show it to me.
I don't know who it was.
She was asking how homeschool students get books.
This is your
They
K
buy their
through
own.
12, not just regular homeschool, like if you get sick or hurt.
Homebound.
You're talking about homebound.
Yeah.
Homebound.
Oh, that's provided through an online program.
Okay, if they can get it, why can you not call them up and ask where their books is? Because there's books out there that's state level, because this is state level.
It's an online program.
For the
They have
homebound?
books, they have books.
It's the same books that our they're still our
But
students. It's the
hard
same books.
They got hard books.
We don't have hardback books.
I know you don't have hardback books, but what I'm saying is, can you not call them and ask?
Donna,
where
just
their
write it on the
books?
list to check out the homebound books versus what's in the system. Will you put that on your list of when we go looking?
Oh, I will, because I have a friend that does
Thank you.
homebound.
Well, we can just compare, that'd probably be the easiest thing is to compare them to what is in the system versus what's in the homes. And, just go from there. I think we've got a long process ahead of us is going through all the schools and every grade looking at these books. But it can be done.
The easiest thing, systems I worked in Knox County and also in Huntsville, Alabama. We had just a set of classroom textbooks, but you just downloaded, like for U.S. history, it was the Americans. And the EOCs were geared in both states towards this book. But you just downloaded the book on, of course, the students all had PCs. So in both systems, they just gave them PCs. And so the kids could read the textbook on the PCs. But also, like in my class, you have the general outlines that, tell the kids exactly what's gonna be on the test, et cetera. So that's the easiest.
So they
thing
can
to do,
study.
Just have a classroom set and then download, like I downloaded, my textbook, and then you have a certain number, an index number to give each one of the kids, and so they can download on their PCs.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the easiest thing to do.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So, you look into that too when we go through looking at the books. A lot of the books I saw on shelves were 2010 published date, but when I was talking to Angie about it, she said there should be no reason why any books from 2010 were on our shelves, and that they should have been gotten rid of. And if the teachers weren't using the new books, then that was on them and not the systems. That it's the teacher's issue for not clearing off the shelves and using the correct books. So I told her we'd walk through together and see, I mean, if the teachers aren't listening to the superintendents or whatever their positions are of those grades, then Angie should be taking care of that, as in, why are we using old books when we've given you new? So we've got to see where that's all at yet, because I don't know. But it seems to me like that's a good idea, and the hardbacks for the classroom, and then being able to supply a way for them to use it electronically would be amazing. You sound like you got a wealth of knowledge over there. Is it? Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Confirmation to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion.
Second.
Get it?
I don't have to call roll.
No.
I can
Hit
do
it.
it. This meeting's adjourned.
Serena?